You are cordially invited to celebrate the birth of P. Diddy.
Sean P. Diddy.
Sean P. Puff. Big boy!
The legendary Puff Daddy.
What initially seemed to be a trial focused on Cassie's accusations has exploded before our eyes. This is no longer a couple story. This is no longer a private quarrel. It's a judicial bomb that's splattering the entire entertainment industry. And if you think you've heard everything, think again. The once silent courtroom has become the theater of unbearable revelations, leaked testimonies, recordings played behind closed doors, powerful and famous names. In the corridors of this federal trial, it's no longer about one man. It's a system being laid bare, a network of influence, fear, and secrets that allegedly existed under our noses for years. And now that the truth is beginning to crumble, no one knows how far the fall will go. Initially, they showed a blurry video of a hotel hallway, no sound, just images. But that was only the entrance, because in the shadows, real audio would have been played, and what it contained would have chilled the entire room. No phones, no authorized recording, just silence. A heavy and almost surreal silence. According to a present source, what was heard was graphic and impossible to deny. Two men, an explicit scene, and in the background, Diddy's laughter. From that moment on, the trial's tone changed. The tension thickened, gazes hardened, and rumors became clues, a disturbing puzzle that was beginning to take shape. Then came the witnesses, and these weren't just anyone, not anonymous people hungry for spotlight, but artists, former employees, people close to the bad boy record circle, people who saw, who know, and who for years preferred to stay silent out of fear, loyalty, or contract. But today, protected by law, they finally speak. Among them, one name made the room tremble, Dawn Richard, former member of Danity Kane, produced by Diddy himself. She testified, and what she said left no doubt. Yes, Diddy did terrible things. No, Cassie isn't making anything up. And when she left the courthouse, her face said everything. Fatigue, disgust, pain. But that was nothing compared to what we saw next. When Diddy's daughter crossed the courthouse doors, the paparazzi flashes froze. No one shouted her name. No one dared break the moment. She looked at no one, her face empty, her body tense, as if she had just heard something no child should ever hear. According to several sources, this was right after the broadcast of that shocking recording, which leaves one question hanging in the air. What did she hear in there to come out so broken? Then, an unexpected name emerges, Will Smith. Not a simple mention, not a rumor in the air. Will would be directly linked to the audio, and immediately, the internet awakened. Old videos resurface, questionable interviews, sideways glances, strange moments between Will and Diddy. Everything is reanalyzed, reframed, recontextualized. One sequence in particular resurfaces. Comedian Lunel, in a forgotten interview, drops this bomb. Will and Diddy were screwing around together. At the time, no one reacted. Today, no one ignores it anymore. And then another layer is added. Brother Bilal, Will Smith's former personal assistant, enters the dance, and what he claims surpasses everything we could have imagined. Brother Bilal doesn't beat around the bush. He tells of having seen Will Smith in explicit situations with other men. He speaks of a moment where Will allegedly played with a man's intimacy, and another where Dwayne Martin, the actor, allegedly literally bent him over a couch like a yoga instructor. Raw and disturbing words, not insinuations. And naturally, it explodes online. Internet users transform into investigators. They dig up archives, photos, videos, events where Will and Diddy were very close, very close. And when Will tries to extinguish the fire by saying, "I never did this shit," it's pure lies. It's even worse because the internet doesn't forget. And the visual evidence is right there. Then comes Meek Mill. He literally loses it when his name appears in turn in the supposed audio tapes. Meek Mill cracks. Where Will Smith stays calm, Meek goes into total meltdown. He tweets nonstop, justifies himself, gets angry, contradicts himself, and the more he speaks, the more it reeks of unease. For years, people were already mocking his proximity to Diddy. They called him his luxury assistant, his pocket toy. At the time, we laughed. Today, these jokes take on a completely different meaning. One video shows him at a party with Michael Rubin, bouncing strangely while someone laughs in the background. Another shows Diddy organizing a birthday for him, surrounded by shirtless men, calling him daddy in front of the camera. This phrase becomes a meme in hours. "I'm not gay, stop with that." That's what Meek ended up tweeting, a cry of defense, but too late. The responses pour in, old screenshots, videos, tweets brought back from the past. Each attempt to restore his image backfires. And the most worrying thing in all this is what we haven't heard. No leaks, not a single excerpt from the famous audio tapes, no sound, no visual, just insider accounts and anonymous summaries. And it's precisely this silence that terrifies. One witness allegedly described a scene where a man is being dominated while Diddy laughs in the background. Another claimed to have a tape between Meek Mill and Diddy, but no one knows if it was true or just clickbait. And meanwhile, the government remains silent and gives no reason why the evidence remains hidden. But why hide this evidence? That's the question everyone is asking now. In the United States, a criminal trial generally involves transparency and public access. So why this blackout? Why do these tapes, if they're so crucial, remain locked away from public eyes? Some suggest it's to protect the identity or dignity of the people involved. Others think the content is simply too dangerous. Too many famous names, too much power at stake. A leak could make everything explode. And if Diddy, Will Smith, and Meek Mill are only the first names to come out, then who else is hiding behind this curtain? The fear grows, not because of what we know, but because of everything we don't know yet. What this trial reveals is perhaps much more than a series of slip-ups. It's about a culture camouflaged for years, unspoken rules, silences bought or imposed, and until now, no one had the strength or protection to talk about it. But federal pressure has changed the game, and above all, the witnesses are no longer alone. They speak in groups, they support each other, and what they reveal is a live collapse of a once untouchable figure. Because Diddy wasn't just a producer, he was a living legend of hip-hop, a businessman, a lawmaker. He had political campaigns, luxury partnerships, billionaire friends. Today, everything collapses, and those who rubbed shoulders with him begin to wonder what they didn't see or what they chose to ignore. Today, many wonder how we could have missed this. But the signs never disappeared. Embarrassing interviews, Diddy's bizarre phrases, artists broken after their time at Bad Boy Records, those who disappeared from the landscape, those who tried to alert without ever being believed. For example, Aubrey O'Day has been screaming for years. She was mocked, ignored, but now her words resonate differently, and the courthouse listens. When several women, independently of each other, tell the same scenes with the same details, it's no longer a coincidence. It's a pattern, a mechanism. And in a courthouse, that's devastating. The emotional impact goes beyond the trial framework. It touches culture, memories, the image we had of these icons. Will Smith, already fragile since the famous Oscar slap, wavers. Those who defended him begin to doubt, because if the recordings are real and he's on them, it won't be an image crisis, it will be the end of his career. As for Meek Mill, the public seems to have already condemned him. He hasn't been charged, but his nervousness and defensive tweets fuel the machine. And in the court of public opinion, it's enough to be mentioned to be condemned. Until now, still no word from authorities. This silence feeds another deeper fear that these tapes are too powerful to be made public. Because if they leak one day, they won't just reveal the truth. They could destroy much more than careers. They could bring down an entire system.